Do not attempt any of the techniques shown in this program. Always consult a professional. Today on the Healing Dog Whisperer.
It's an early start. I've had an urgent call to see a wolf dog that's out of control. I've dealt with just about every breed there is, but never a wolf. And as you can see, there's no shortage of wolf. I just wonder how much of the wolf I'm going to have to deal with. From as early as I can remember, I've always had a passion for dogs. It's their beauty, it's their power, it's their grace, and their unending capacity to bring love and joy into our lives. But sometimes they need a little help. My name is Stephen James. Join me on a journey of discovery as we bring hope, happiness and freedom into the lives of dogs. Opinions on wolf dogs are divided. Advocates say they can be wonderful pets, while others believe they're unpredictable, untrainable, and inherently dangerous. Lupo, my subject today, is a high-content wolf dog. High contents have a reputation for being stubborn and not eager to please. But let's just see how untrainable this wolf really is. So I arrived at Peter's, and the first thing he did was take me out onto the street and show me exactly all the issues he was having with Lupo. In the front entranceway, Lupo grinds to a halt and stubbornly refuses to move. Peter has to wave people by to have any chance of getting him outside. The person holding the camera just adds to his lack of enthusiasm. Then, like a cork out of a bottle, he's out. Peter attempts to walk him down the street. It's not too bad until Lupo decides he's had enough. And then the whole thing descends into chaos. As has happened once before, at any moment Peter can be pulled to the ground and risk serious injury. Back where he started, Peter tries another direction. But Lupo is having none of it. We have to get on top of this, and we have to do it fast. So we went back inside and got to talking. We've seen what Lupo can be like when he's outside, which is pretty uncontrollable. But let's back up for a minute, because I believe you've had a wolf dog before. So why don't you tell me a bit about him first?
Well, Logan was a splendid wolf dog. He was part Czechoslovakian wolf dog, part Northern Inuit. And he had the most cool personality you could ever imagine. He was friendly without being over the top. He would go anywhere with me. He loved to go out by any means possible, whether it's even on a yacht, the London Tube, buses, trains, car. walking, any means of going somewhere, he was for, and was pretty obedient 98% of the time. And he was a great sadness to me when he passed. I've never grieved over, I don't think I've grieved over anything quite as much as I grieved over that dog. So I got Lupo, and Lupo is the complete opposite of Boda. He is a very nervous dog, very shy of strangers, prefers to not go out of the house at all, he's agoraphobic, and needs to be either dragged or seriously encouraged, basically dragged most of the time, to get him out the door. He's not so bad once you got him over the threshold. And once you've got into somewhere where he can run, he's pretty obedient. His recall is fairly good.
So what's the difference between a high content wolf dog and a low content wolf dog? Well, it's exactly how it sounds. If you have a low content wolf dog, you'll have a dog that looks like a wolf but has more dog traits. And high content wolf dogs are more like wolf in their behaviour than they are dog. Lupo is a high content wolf dog, and he's not doing anything unusual. In fact, his behaviour is completely normal. You would never find wolves in an urban environment. They'd either be in deep forest or high country, well away from human contact. An urban or town environment to a wolf would be a terrifying place. And that's exactly what this is to Lupo. The outside world is a terrifying place. So to tackle this, we're going to look at the 3 levels. The 3 levels of a dog. What do I mean? Well, let me explain. There's 3 levels to a dog. There's energy, instinct, and emotion. The first thing we have to deal with Lupo is the energy. Energy is an everyday part of our lives. We consume it voraciously through electricity, water, gas, oil, diesel, petrol, wind energy, solar energy, nuclear energy. We're even trying to create ever more elaborate ways to produce more energy, trying to make it cleaner, more efficient and cheaper. But what about your energy? The energy that surrounds you and runs through you. The energy that's an essential part of your anatomy. You can't see it, but it's there. Like the air that you breathe, you can't see that either, but you're breathing it. This is a single human cell. We're made up of 50 trillion of them. Within the last decade, scientists have discovered that each of our cells has its own energy field. That's 50 trillion energy fields pulsating and working together. Just imagine what you can do with all that energy. This is the sun, the life giver, the biggest energy giver of all. Just look at the uncanny similarity between a human cell and the sun. In fact, our energy has become so important now that pharmaceutical companies are actively researching it in relation to future medicines. Why? Because your energy has the ability to transmit information. So what's all this got to do with a wolf dog in Somerset? Well, let me show you. I'm going to use my energy to connect with his. My energy is strong, it is confident, and it is non-threatening. Just watch how this animal succumbs to what I'm doing. And what's so important to remember is this dog is 80 to 90% wolf. Any wolf in these circumstances would want to run, or I'd put myself in danger of being severely bitten. Just watch how mesmerised this dog is at what's happening. When you have a dog that is so riddled with fear that no amount of behavioural tricks or training is going to work, something bigger has to happen. I am not restraining this dog in any way. I am just gently holding his head. There is no one behind him, and he is free to leave at any point. But instead, he just sits there and waits. As a professional trainer and behaviourist, the dog training industry would frown upon me for doing anything like this because it's so unconventional. But it works. Now just watch the transformation. From a standing start, this dog walks calmly. There's no pulling, there's no darting from left to right. And the looking behind is all but gone. And just watch how Lupo matches my pace, step for step. He's still curious about his surroundings, but he's now putting complete trust in me. So now we've gone from this to this. So as we continue with Lupo, he's reluctant to pass the cameraman. So I quickly swap sides, putting myself between him and his issue. I continue walking at the same pace. I relax my lead arm so there's no tension, and everything settles really quickly. Comfort or negotiation with a dog in tricky situations will never work. Your dog wants to see confidence. Your dog wants to feel that you know what you're doing. You can't fake confidence to a dog, not like you can to a human being. You have to be confidence itself. Because your energy is telling your dog how you feel. Now, Look at the staircase coming into view ahead of me. This is the staircase where Peter could have faced life-changing injuries, or possibly even a fatal one. On a recent walk with Lupo, Lupo was surprised by a dog at the top of the stairs. He immediately overreacted, pulling Peter to the ground, who smashed his face on the railings as he landed. Lupo made a dash for the stairs. Luckily for Peter, the lead was snatched from his hand. Had he still been attached to the lead, he would have faced a 35-foot drop down a flight of concrete stairs.
Stephen successfully tamed the wolf dog, Lupo, getting him to relax outside of the house and walk properly on a lead. But Peter was unwittingly causing some of the issues.
So the first thing I noticed is that Peter's got a harness on Lupo, which won't help anything. He's got no control of the harness. He's just putting pressure on the body, and the body just wants to resist all the pulling that Peter's doing. His confidence is rock bottom since he had the accident. An unconfident owner goes out with an unconfident dog, then you're going to have lots of trouble. What became very clear was that his previous wolf dog had been absolutely perfect in every way, and he kept measuring Lupo against Logan, which was the previous dog, and all that was setting him up for was disappointment.
Now Stephen has the unenviable task of explaining to Peter where he is going wrong, because if he wants to keep this dog, he must, without question, turn things around.
This is my dog Star. She is also a feral dog born out of captivity, and she behaves just like Lupo. She doesn't like being in public places, and she's extremely nervous around new people. So Peter and I have had an extensive conversation about what he has to do next. Lupo, like any wolf, feral dog or everyday at-home dog, understands discipline. Being on a lead is a discipline, not just for exercise, and discipline is not to be confused with cruelty. Discipline is simply rules, boundaries and limitations, what you can and cannot do. There is always discipline within a pack of wild dogs, and there must be discipline within our own. Within the pack, someone has to be in charge, or else the dog has no direction, no one to trust and no one to follow. Peter has to tap into Lupo's instincts as a follower. Peter also has another dog, a border collie, a high energy dog that requires constant attention. He has never been able to walk these two as adult dogs on a lead successfully together. You can see Peter's presence is already overexciting the collie. So I politely ask him to leave while I settle things down. And they walk perfectly. Lupo is even better than the collie. I'm also introducing a Halti harness for Lupo. It fits around the muzzle, connects beneath the chin and stops any and all pulling. It just gives Peter that extra piece of control.
Lupo has to practice and master simple and uneventful walks in the street, developing trust and confidence in Peter. Stephen alleviated a good portion of Lupo's anxiety, but Peter has to change his behavior around Lupo for this to work. Peter had lost all control of his wolf dog Lupo, who would revert to his feral instincts, which was to run or hide whenever they left the house. Wolf dogs are not normally found in urban areas, especially high-content wolf dogs like Lupo, and understandably don't take to them very well due to their extreme wolf nature. But as Peter had no plans to move to a rural area, and he had already had a bad accident, something had to be done before Lupo had to be rehomed.
He's having quite a few problems, and Lupo is going straight into flight and avoidance mode as soon as he gets outside. So we need to get control of this quite quickly because Peter's already had an accident with Lupo. Lupo pulled him over and he hit his face against some railings, and what became very clear was that his previous wolf dog had been absolutely perfect in every way, and he kept measuring Lupo against Logan, which was the previous dog, and all that was setting him up for was disappointment. There's 3 levels to a dog. There's energy, instinct and emotion. The first thing they have to deal with Lupo is the energy. So that's exactly what I did. Lupo's energy was full of anxiety. And as soon as the anxiety was lifted, it had an extremely powerful effect. So I left clear guidelines for Peter to follow. He must change his behaviour around Lupo, start being the leader that gives clear boundaries. Just being the provider is not good enough, and he must limit his affection. Too much affection can have the opposite effect with an insecure dog. And he must practice short lead walks with Lupo using the halty harness, staying away from busy roads and staying away from the town. Simple walks like walking to the end of his road and back, so that Lupo can conquer his fear and Peter can rebuild his confidence. After a week of leaving Peter alone, I'm back. Was all that we did enough? Well, let's see. Peter, that's fantastic. Straight out the door the first time and straight up the road. See? You turned it all around. I knew you could. So pleased about this, but you've got to keep doing this. You've got to keep practicing. Lupo's got to practice what you want. So we've had tremendous success, and Peter's got control back that he never had before. So his confidence level has gone right up, and Lupo's now getting direction that he never got before. So his confidence level is going to rise, and the confidence between the pair of them is going to get greater and greater. So all they need to do now is practice. One week later, before I'd managed to get back, word gets to me from Peter. There's been an accident. Ignoring my warnings not to go to busy public places, Peter and Lupo had gone into town. Using the wrong type of lead, Lupo got out of control and once again pulled Peter to the ground, damaging his face and injuring his hand. And in the middle of all this excitement, Lupo broke free and ran away. All of Peter's newfound confidence is once again at rock bottom.
Next time on The Healing Dog Whisperer.
I gave him 6 months, and whatever it took to get him right in 6 months, I'd spend. But if at the end of 6 months he was still very difficult to control, then he'd have to go back.